this says January 10th. That's what I have. That's what I just gave you.
The video's not on yet, right? It's on Soul. She just turned it on. Like in the last 30 seconds, so jump on YouTube. You'll see it.
Just saying that's the one I have. We got to try to. Hey, Lori. What'd you say? Yeah, type in YouTube in your computer, and then just type in Homedale Township, and it should come right up. That's how I did it, and it worked for me really easy. No. Now the only negative thing is there's a time delay, so you better don't listen to the voice on the video. You have to listen to our voice. What's going on, Lori? We painted, we got the electric in, the lights work, the outlets work. We're almost there. Good. One is the mud in the yards, so pretty nice after that. It's a clean night.
All good?
I'm a little trying to figure this all, reading everything. It's a lot of information. Very impressive. I mean, just folder with my name on it, all my papers. You got one too? Yeah, but you got a red one. I'm special.
This is attorney.
That's nice. Okay. One, one, two, three, four. We only have four.
You left out of it?
John could be coming in. The traffic was.
Who else is coming?
Well, we can start with 5.
Oh,
You turned it off. Whose was that? I think it might have been yours.
turned it
Lori, did you get the video feed?
Oh, it just went away.
Yeah, it went away. Okay, here comes John. We still should have a planner.
We didn't have a number.
What?
We didn't have a number.
Yeah, it's been out.
They didn't give you a cell phone.
You know where it is,
They
the
give
fire.
you a cell phone by any chance, I
I
believe.
can check
His, I think it's a guy, right?
It's a guy?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I must have got the 2-minute window where it stopped right. It's down more again? Yeah.
She told us that.
Yeah.
what do you wanna do, wait?
All right.
We could do some.
We could get, we can get the engineer and start it, because it's really
He
Bill.
left at 5:30, so.
So Mike, just so you know, that our planner who's filling in tonight is stuck in traffic, so we don't even have a cell phone for him.
Is it-
Only our regular planner, who we just spoke to. She's
No.
she's trying to call him on the phone.
No, it's actually Mr. Nihil is coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our regular planner, we just called, Kate Keller, and she's trying to get a hold of him, but we're just a little bit of limbo. We may start with the engineer, if the chair wants to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
You ready?
well, we're gonna open up the meeting and then we'll,
Do you have a planner? Yeah, you do. Bob. I wonder why you were here.
Okay,
You wanna fill it?
Test, test.
is that all the videos on?
You're not gonna go until we get a planner, sorry.
Oh, it was on. Okay, call the meeting to order for March 5th, 2025. Go ahead.
I hereby announce pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act that adequate notice of this meeting has been transmitted on January 14, 2024 by the Board Administrative Officer to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, the Township Clerk, and has been posted in the meeting room and in the entrance hall in Town Hall, all pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act.
Roll call.
Mr. Berkeley,
Present.
Ms. Campus,
Here.
Ms. Gerhard.
Here.
Mr. Luciani, absent. Mr. Marzola, absent. Mr. Giacomo,
Here.
Giampolo, I'm sorry. Mr. Orfanitopoulos.
Lori,
Here.
do you wanna
And
mute
Ms.
your
Costello?
line?
Here. And Mr. Frigiola, absent.
And for the record, Lori is from home on a speakerphone and watching a live video phone, so she's here, basically.
That's correct.
Okay, let's stand for a pledge of allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence for our military, first responders, and PD. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Okay, the minutes, let's move that to the end and go on to item number 1, public hearing.
Stephen and Jennifer were.
It's on. It was on. Go ahead. I think that's our planner. Are you our planner?
For the record,
Right there,
for
sit
the
down.
record, the planner, township planner has arrived at, 7:05. Thank you.
Stephen and Jennifer Rivera, 97 Stillwell Road, Block 10, Lot 21, in the R40A zone. Zoning Board variance 2024-7, single-family dwelling with variances.
Thank you. Is there, do you see any conflicts from anybody here? Anybody have any conflicts with the applicants? Okay, so
Test,
we
test.
have, for Jean, we're gonna sit Angela as a member, full member. Okay, I think that's the main stuff. Okay, so do you have anything more you wanna say? What about all the paperwork in order?
As far as the notices are fine.
That's correct.
Okay, it's all yours.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and board members, my name is Michael Steib. I'm an attorney with offices at 16 Cherry Street Farm Road in Middletown Township, and I have the pleasure of representing Stephen and Jennifer Rivera this evening.
Is the mic on, a little red light?
Yeah, the red light's on.
Just come
I
closer
just
to
need to
it.
get it closer.
Closer, closer.
Fine.
Thank you.
Okay. So the Riveras are here this evening, and I also have with me A.J. Garrido, who will be presenting testimony as an engineer, and also Barbara Allen, who will be presenting testimony as a professional planner. This is a request for variance relief for the Riveras to demolish an existing aged and in not too great shape building, and to build their own home so they can move and live in Homedale. The property is at 97 Stillwell Road. It's known as Block 10, Lot 21. It is an undersized lot in the R40A zone. It has an area of 11,000 square feet, where 40,000 square feet is the standard. It's in a little cluster of smaller lots along Stillwell Road, and you'll hear more about that from AJ when he gets up and goes through his plan. There is currently a 1.5-story small 984 square foot home with a detached shed. Those buildings are in dilapidated condition. The Riveras purchased this property last year with the intention initially to possibly renovate the building and expand it. However, after consulting with their architect, determined that the building really was not savable, so that they're proposing a new structure altogether. The building itself will be approximately 3,000 square feet in total area. It will consist of a basement, of a first floor, which will have a entry foyer, along with a living area, an open space living area and dining area with kitchen, and a computer room and 1 bathroom. The second floor will have 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, a master bath, and a laundry room. And then there will be an attic as well that will be unfinished. So this property, as I indicated, is an undersized lot of record, and it is an elongated rectangle in shape. You'll hear about the existing nonconformities from Mr. Garrido when he testifies, but it's not only an undersized lot, but it also lacks frontage in existing condition of 50 feet where 100 feet is required, and a lot width of 55 feet where 180 feet is required. Those are existing nonconformities that we're not changing, but they do result in what we would argue to you this evening creates a bit of a hardship with respect to the property. With regard to the variances that we're looking for, new variances, we're looking for a front yard setback of 18.4 feet where 50 feet is required. We're looking for lot coverage of 35% where 25% is permitted, and we're looking for a 1 side yard setback of 9.2 feet where 12.5 feet is required. And that is a new variance that we were just was brought to our attention in your planner's letter. We had thought that 9.2 feet was compliant, and she directed us to the area of the ordinance, a section of the ordinance that put us up to 12.5. So we are asking for 9.2 where 12.5 is required. As I indicated, this property is in the R40A zone. The surrounding properties are a mix of single-family residential homes, agricultural uses, and the Oak Hill Farm Market is at the intersection of Stillwell Road and Crawford's Corner Road. And as I indicated, the subject property is in a small cluster of smaller, undersized lots. And there are some larger lots along the southerly line on the side of Stillwell, on the opposite side of the street. Jennifer and Stephen purchased the property in 2024, as they indicated, and it's their desire to remove the existing structures on the property and to build a new home for themselves. I indicated to you what that home would be consist of, and I'm going to have Jennifer Rivera come up and just briefly identify some photographs that I've already passed up to your secretary, as well as the architectural renderings of the proposed structure that they want to build. The variances, as I indicated, are driven by the undersized lot and the long, narrow shape of the lot. We believe those conditions do create a hardship to construct a reasonably sized home with a modern home, code compliant with a garage and septic system, and we're also proposing a stormwater management system as well, which Mr. Garrido will talk to you about. And we also believe that the Rivera's plan will meet both the positive and negative criteria for the grant of variance relief. That being said, I would ask first that Jennifer Rivera be sworn so that she can give brief testimony as to these 2 exhibits that has been passed out to the board.
Why don't we swear everybody in who's coming in, who's going to be speaking?
So AJ, we're going to swear everyone in, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, we'll swear all the
Including
witnesses
our
in.
professionals, too.
So, and our professionals, does everyone swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
For the record, All witnesses have been sworn, including the board's professionals, so we'll go through their credentials. and what they do.
Jennifer, you're the owner of the subject property, and you said this still owns it, correct?
I'm sorry, you will need to, why don't you sit down
Is
and
that
she will
mic-
sit next to you and you can have both mics. And also through chair, I would ask the attorney to mark the exhibits, maybe A1, A2, because they were not submitted originally.
We should mark them as,
Thank you.
we can mark them as a pack.
bring that right up.
What do you have?
I'm going to have her identify him.
Okay, that's good.
So Jennifer, you're the owner of the property, and it's your wish to remove the existing structures and to build a new residence, a new home for you and your family, is that right?
Correct.
And I'm going to show you a set of pictures, photographs. And these are photographs that you folks took of the property?
Yep.
And when did you take the photographs?
What are we marking
Right
these as?
before.
It's not on.
Just speak into it.
Hello. I took the pictures right before I handed all the paperwork in for the variance.
Okay, and do these photographs, and that was sometime last fall?
Yes,
And these photographs accurately depict what the condition of the property was at that time?
yes,
And it consisted of a residence at the front of the property that is shown on page 1
Yes.
and page 2, and the shed,
in the back.
which is in the rear of the property.
Correct.
And these photographs accurately depict what you took back in the fall.
Yes,
I would ask that that be Exhibit A1.
Just for the record, there's 3 pages with 11 pictures, is that correct?
That's correct.
So just for the, we'll do that A1, we'll mark that as A1, that whole package.
And Jennifer, I'm going to show you a document with 4 pages. Are these the architectural drawings for the home that you're proposing?
yes,
And these drawings were made at your direction with your architect?
yes,
And you initially thought that you might renovate this existing structure and enlarge it, but determined after speaking with the architect that that was not going to be feasible.
correct.
Thank you. I would ask that this be Exhibit A2.
Can I ask a question? You said this is approximately 3,000 square feet. Something, you said the square foot area of this project?
Correct.
And does that include the attic, or is that just the first floor and the second floor?
It's the first and second floors.
Is the attic something that can be finished, this height, for somebody to walk up there and have a finished area?
Can you,
We'll have to bring him up.
let's-
Yeah, well, okay, we'll save it
The
for later then.
architect, the architect.
Oh, that's the architect?
no, that's not the architect.
Okay.
We had hoped to have the architect here, but he has the pleasure of being in Florida on vacation
Okay.
at this point.
Well, we'll hold off on that question.
And that's all that I have for Ms. Rivera.
Okay.
At this time, I would ask that Mr. Garrido, who has been sworn, identify himself and put his credentials on the record.
You have to keep it close, within 3 inches of your mouth, believe it or not.
My name is A.J. Garrido. I'm a principal engineer with Two River Engineering at 265 Route 34, Colts Neck, New Jersey. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, and I've testified in front of this board before.
Your license is currently in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And have you testified before other planning boards and zoning boards throughout the county and state?
Yes, throughout the county and state.
Have you ever testified in Homedale?
I have, numerous occasions.
Okay.
AJ, can you tell the board what you did in order to prepare for this hearing this evening?
Sure. We were provided architectural plans for a new dwelling on the property. Prior to doing our engineering work, because the site did need a new septic system, we performed 4 soil borings on the property, 2 for a septic system, 1 for a foundation for the dwelling, and 1 for a stormwater management system. The soil borings are all favorable for septic and permeable soils for a stormwater management system, and then we provide a plot plan and septic design plan. As Mike kind of described the property, it's a little unique. It's long and narrow. It's only 55 feet wide. The house is about 26 and a half feet wide at its widest portion. The plan was this 3,000 square foot dwelling, which the footprint is actually a little less than 1,600 square feet, so it's a modest sized house. We did have a detached garage also, so that, the 3 bedrooms upstairs and then about 1,600 square feet on the first floor. So it was a detached, 2-car detached garage that, because of the shape of the property, that had to go to the rear of the property.
And the the 2-car garage is a requirement under the ordinance, is it not?
That's correct.
Okay. And Exhibit A1 that Jennifer Rivera testified to, have you been to the property?
I have.
And these photographs accurately depict what the conditions of the property are at present?
They do.
And can you tell the board the characteristics of the property that caused you to have to design this in a certain way?
Sure. Basically, just the size and the shape of the property. It's only 11,000 square feet in area, and it's very narrow. Having the detached garage requires a driveway, obviously to go to the rear of the property. So holding 5 feet off one property line and only putting a 10-foot wide driveway, that only leaves about 40 feet left for the actual building construction. Septic systems, a 3-bedroom septic system required a disposal field of about 816 square feet. And there's lots of constraints that have to do with a septic system. They need to be 10 feet from property lines, 15 feet from a slab, or 25 feet from a basement, 50 feet from other septic systems, 100 feet from wells. So really, the septic was either going to go in the front of the property or the rear of the property. Putting it in the front of the property sort of forced everything way into the rear of the property, and it just didn't really have enough room to have a dwelling in a detached garage. Plus, with the long driveway, it added to the lot coverage.
And was that also problematic with the utilities coming from the street?
Yes, it's that much longer, the utilities and whatnot also.
So it was decided that the proper place for the septic would be to the rear of the property,
That's correct.
and that's where it's placed on this plan.
Yes.
And the garage is placed in front of the septic area, is that correct?
Yep. And we tried to make that as far back to the rear as we could. But we had, like I said, we had to hold at least 15 feet from the disposal field.
Okay. And that then pushed the building itself, the home, to the front.
That's correct, to push the building to the front. Currently, the building has like a 4.5-foot portico and then steps coming down off the front. So the 18.35 feet, that's the front yard setback, and the variance we're seeking, that's really to the last step. To the actual building, it's about 26.85 feet.
And the property line, the front property line, the distance between that and the street line, the actual pavement line is how deep?
It's between 9 and 10 feet.
Right. So to the house is approximately 38 feet from the street line?
That's correct.
Thank you. Can you briefly tell the board about the stormwater management that you devised for this plan?
Sure. As we sort of did a typical stormwater management plan that we would do for small projects like this. The project is not what they call a major development. It disturbs less than an acre. It doesn't increase the impervious coverage by more than 1/4 of an acre. So we really look at what's the increase of impervious coverage, and then we design a system, an underground system, to handle that. So we calculate what the volume of that difference is. We perform soil borings to test the permeability of the soil, to see where the seasonal high groundwater is, and then we provided 2 storm chambers, underground storm chambers sitting on stone, and then we collect all the roof leaders from the impervious dwelling to go into this system. So it'll actually reduce the rates of runoff to surrounding property owners and provide groundwater infiltration, which is encouraged to provide groundwater quality.
So you've had an opportunity to review the board engineer's letter, have you not?
I have.
And he did ask that we provide testimony regarding the impact downstream and on adjacent properties and with respect to percolation. Has your stormwater design been constructed in order to address those issues in a satisfactory manner?
It has.
And the engineer also requested what was going to be the driveway material. Currently, it's stone. and that the applicant was considering replacing that with an asphalt surface.
Yeah, so it's proposed, just your typical asphalt driveway surface is proposed.
And will
Can
the
we
storm-
can I stop you a minute?
Certainly.
I don't like to hear the whole thing. I'd like to take time for some of the board members to ask some questions on some of what you've talked about. And
That's
you've covered a
perfectly
lot of
acceptable.
stuff. So, I'm taking this opportunity to allow the board members to ask a couple questions on what we heard so far, especially the variances, the placement of the house, why he placed it where it is, why the septic's in the back. Does anybody have any concerns and questions about that?
I have one question. Is there currently an existing foundation on the current home here?
The home is still up, it's still,
There's a foundation, a basement, like a concrete basement?
I'm not, I've never been in the house.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, the disturbance of the property itself. If there already is if there is a concrete foundation, are you going to destroy that and rebuild a new foundation? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yes, it's going to be totally raised and a new foundation.
Okay.
So there currently is no basement in the house.
I don't
And,
really,
or there won't be a basement in the house. It'll be on, that house will be constructed on slab, not no basement.
there is a proposed basement in the new house, yes.
Well, then that would change the septic requirements if you're gonna put a basement in it, won't it?
The septics are based on the number of bedrooms in the house. We need to increase the size of the septic system if they have ejector pumps or things like that in the basement, but there's no plumbing or proposed in the basement. So
Can you
Right, but
just confirm, though, is there an existing basement right now?
It looks like there's one. Look at the
my
pictures.
client's not,
The o-
yes.
the
there
o-
is-
the
there is-
owners are saying it's a crawl space? Is that what the owner? 6-foot basement, okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to have him come
Jennifer.
up and get sworn.
Just come up and, or Mr. Rivera.
Just-
Okay,
Oh.
so we'll swear in Mr. Rivera.
Thing is the septic requirements.
We're gonna swear you in. Swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, just state your name for the record.
Stephen Rivera.
So my question is, what is the current existing foundational property? Like, what is there right now?
There's a it's a cinder block foundation, and the height is about 6.5 feet in the basement right now.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. You have the setback on the existing house, looks like over 50 feet, am I correct? You are. Over 50 feet?
It's 54.1 feet.
And where is the current septic system located?
I'm not sure where the current septic system is.
The owner might know. He seems to be signaling.
It's in the rear of the house as well.
Where the current one is, or is it going to be further back? Like, if you're looking at, do you want, maybe the map here will be helpful? If you could pull this big map up here and just kind of point to it, maybe raise it up in the air.
Yeah, pick it up.
Pick it up and put it on the stand. Just okay, great. Just so the whole board could see this, please.
So, hey, we're just getting ahead. AJ, just, let's mark that as A3 and just describe it quick, so.
A3 is just a colored rendering of the site plan. It's blown up at a 1 to 10 scale, so it's basically the same plan you have, just colored. It doesn't, the existing house isn't in this area, isn't shown, but sort of in this area you see is concrete. I think that was like one of the old tanks, but it's an old system.
So right there where you're signaling is where the existing septic
That's where
tank
the
is.
existing tank was, yeah. But
Okay.
all that is proposed to be removed. And
Okay.
anyway.
And then you're proposing in the back of the property, that big rectangular square back there?
Yes,
So much larger.
much larger, a new 1,250-gallon, two-compartment septic tank is proposed as well.
Okay.
Okay, so my questions are not that I want to redesign this property. It's more of reducing variances. So you have a variance for the front yard setback. You went very quickly, and I don't remember the reason why you said the septic can't be in the front. Because if it was in the front, it would eliminate one variance.
It would.
And it would also make life easy later on when the septic people come to drain. They don't have to go all the way in the back to get to drain it out. So it would be positive.
And I'm going to add to your comments, I think if there's any questions from the neighbors, that this house won't be so far front of the other houses, if the other houses are set back, that this would be more aligned
Right.
with the current housing situation on that street.
Yeah, because according to the picture, they look like they're all lined up.
I got you. First about the maintenance of the septic system. Really, the maintenance is pumping the septic tank periodically, annually or biannually, as much as people can do it. The septic tank is located about 15 feet from the proposed dwelling, the new septic tank. And certainly that's accessible. There's a driveway and there are pump hoses. They'll be able to pump that. So it really, if the septic were in front, it wouldn't really make a difference as to the ease of taking care of the septic system. When we looked at putting the septic system in the front, if the septic system was in the front, you're basically 10 feet off the property line. The septic system can only be so big. You try to obviously maximize how wide it can be so you can minimize how deep it has to go. But with the detached garage, you need a driveway. So it would basically have to flip 90 degrees, and it would kind of take up more of a depth. Then we'd have to go 25 feet past the disposal field for the dwelling, because that's the minimum you can put a.
So you're saying asphalt can't go on top of the fields?
It cannot, no.
Okay, is that correct? Yeah, okay.
But bringing the house back that much further may align with the existing homes on that street. So this wouldn't be sticking out as much.
Well, if you kind of just keep working backwards with the house, has a deck and a garage, now the garage is really near the total rear of the property. The only way to get into the garage at that point would have to be sort of a side entry garage, just because you're running out of room to navigate a car through it. So we're over the lot. We were requesting a lot coverage variance. Just the added driveway, if everything were shifted back, whatever 30 feet, would add about a 5% increase in the lot coverage. So yeah, we'd reduce one variance, but we'd be adding to another variance.
Well, I'm also thinking of the neighborhood, how it's gonna look.
Understandable.
So sometimes a variance is okay if it's gonna be the good of the neighborhood versus the individual.
I understand.
So does anybody have any other questions? I mean, that's kind of close to the street.
Would we be able to get like maybe some numbers? So if it were moved to the front, and then if the structure would have to be moved back, I think you mentioned it would have to be 20 feet back from where it would be in the ground.
25 feet from the disposal field.
Okay, because I'm just trying to say like like what would be the number that were then from the.
Let me see. It'd probably be about 72 feet back, which would be sort of further off the neighboring properties in the back than it is to the front.
Okay, Lori has a question. She's
Lori-
on the phone.
Lori, you can go ahead and speak now.
The problem is I can't see the exhibit that you're all looking at. If you could turn it sideways,
Can you
I don't
turn
know
it
if that's
to the
possible.
cameras that way? It's just so
The
it's
camera.
so-
Yeah. It's on the site plan. It's page 2 of the site plan package.
The problem is I can't see the exhibit that you're all looking at. If you could turn it sideways. I don't know
Lori,
if
you got to turn off your computer volume because we hear that.
Does that go?
Is the camera in the rear?
Yeah, but
camera's
she
right
can
there.
look on her plans. It's page 2
Okay.
of your plans, the site plan or survey. Can you see it?
There's 3 large pictures of structures. The house is in the front, the garage is off to the right with the driveway along the right.
Yep.
And then in
I'm
each,
good.
so I actually have a question. So there's 2 different things with the septics. What's in between the house and the garage, and then the septic
tank.
field? Oh, the tank is in the middle.
1,250 gallon
Oh,
tank.
the 12, okay, and then the septic field is in the rear.
Yeah,
Right.
it's basically one discharge line from the back of the house to a 1,250 gallon tank, and then a line that runs to the disposal field.
Okay.
And then there's the garage and a small deck off the rear of the house.
Is
Lori?
that,
Lori, were you able to see that? Do you have any questions, Lori?
I'm good now.
Okay.
Any other board questions before we move on? Go ahead.
is that the existing driveway onto the property?
It's kind of right on the property line, but we're proposing a new paved driveway. The other
No, but
driveway's like
you're gonna
gravel.
make
It's
it
kinda
longer.
just-
In other words, I'm trying to figure out, that's the driveway that currently exists with the dwelling. That's how you'd get on the property.
Correct.
Okay. And, excuse me, but why did you make a detached garage as opposed to putting the garage onto the house?
I mean, maybe my clients could answer that. They, had designed designed with the architect, and this was the design that they had come up with. Like I said, I think they started with maybe trying to renovate the house, and then I wasn't really privy to these discussions, but then between them and their architect, this was the design of a house that they felt, could fit their needs and with a detached garage.
Okay, because if there is a concern about being too much to the front, if you attach the garage and bring the dwelling back, after all, we're starting from scratch, right?
It would be a new dwelling, obviously, if the garage was on to the rear of the house.
Because you could perhaps,
You know what, we shouldn't go into tell them how to redesign the house.
Right.
We're gonna vote on what you've given us. We just suggest things because we're uncomfortable with it being close to the street,
Understood.
okay? And it's a variance for that. And you got two other structures according to the street plan that are next door to, that look like the same size structures according to what I see here on the site plan. And I just wondering how that's gonna look, a brand-new house pushed out from those two. It's gonna look a little awkward over there. At least that's my feeling. I don't know how everybody else feels about that. Bill, do you have any comments so far on things we've been talking about?
I wanted to speak to drainage, what are the existing drainage patterns and what's proposed. I know you're mitigating for the increase in volume, but what about where it's running off to? 'Cause it seems to be two points of analysis.
This is typically what I would do for plot plans, but if Mr. White or the engineer, request some additional drainage, we certainly could provide that. We're providing two pits in the front of the house. If the board or your professionals felt that, hey, maybe two or a few more in the rear would be appropriate, I'd work with your engineer to come up with a plan that.
All right.
Mr. Rio, I was looking
Put
for
that
you
down as special
to put it on the
condition, please.
record, what's existing drainage pattern? Where's the site running off to? And what are you proposing with your proposed grading?
Yeah, I mean, the site sort of drains in two different directions. It probably it's relatively flat. There's not a. Trying to figure out there might be like maybe a 2 or 3 foot grade change throughout the property, but pretty much half the property drains to the front, half the property drains to the rear.
I'm sorry.
what's behind the house? Is there another house behind that, or is that farm property behind that?
It's farm property.
Is it farm? Okay. So there's no structures behind your house? Okay.
You have
And
more
like I said,
questions?
if the engineer has concerns, we'd certainly work with them to their satisfaction. So.
Bill, any other comments? Because I'm gonna take it over to the planner next.
I understand. Basically, we're talking about the neighboring houses. What are the setbacks for the neighboring houses compared to what you're proposing?
So, I'm not sure about the house to the west. The house to the east, the house is about 40 feet setback from the property line, where our house is about 26 and a half feet. So we're sticking up about 14 feet, at least from the house to the right. I believe the house to the left is fairly close to that. If you were to work backwards from the front back, then like I said, it would probably, it'd be 40, we'd probably be at 30 feet further back from that, whatever that's worth.
I think that's probably less of a concern if they were back further than it being out as close to the street. So I don't think people would complain, most neighbors wouldn't complain about being set back further than their house. I think it's just the fact of some neighbors are concerned about it sticking out closer to the street.
How about our planner? You have any comments on what we've been talking about so far?
Yeah, so mostly to reflect the sentiment of what's being discussed thus far, to provide some more clarity on what was said with regarding the setbacks of adjacent properties. So we have adjacent lots here of lots 20 and lots 22, and although they are both also undersized, the front yard setbacks respectively for them are 50 feet and 35 feet, whereas the applicant here is proposing 18.4 feet. So I think generally to reflect the sentiment of the board thus far during discussion, I think there needs to be some sort of happy medium between what's currently required of 50 feet and what the applicant is proposing of 18.4 feet to be more consistent with the general neighborhood, especially with the two properties to the east and west, to be more consistent with what's existing in the surrounding areas. And I have one more comment additionally to raise where our review letter initially indicated that the applicant was retaining the existing stone driveway, whereas I believe it was just indicated now that the applicant is proposing a asphalt driveway, correct? So I will defer on further comments regarding stormwater and drainage patterns to the board engineer, but I do want to note that that would have an additional impact regarding the proposed drainage patterns, since given that stone and asphalt have different drainage patterns, and therefore that would have impacts regarding the requested lot coverage variance.
And thank you for that. And maybe the question is to you as well. There was a comment before about the septic tank being in the front of the property with a blacktop can't be over the septic tank. If it remains
It could be over the septic tank. You just have to put like a H20, a highway loaded septic tank. It's the disposal field itself can't be under a paved surface.
Okay, because I was going to suggest if maybe perhaps retain the stone driveway so that you could have the driveway.
You couldn't put the field over even a stone driveway.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a Google Street View of the three homes. So I see the home to the right is going to be a single story with a brick front. And then the home to the left of your residence is a two-story sided home, windows in the front. So I'm just picturing your house is beautiful compared to what you have next door, with all due respects. So that's why not that it should be there because of the looks, but it's going to stick out in that neighborhood quite a bit, being 18 feet from the front yard compared to where the other homes are, because the other homes are all about even, they all blend in together. So your house would be something unique compared to the other homes, put it that way. So I'm uncomfortable with that being that close to the street and the way the house looks. Maybe if it was a one-story house, that's different. But this house is basically 3 stories high when you add the attic. So it's going to be make a big statement on that street when anybody comes down that street. It's not going to blend in with the rest of the streetscape. That's my feelings. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Yeah, I think what you're hearing from us is, and again, this is what you have to go back and decide, is that we're going to not, I mean, it sounds like we want the house set back further than what it currently is being proposed. So I think that's
We don't have to let them do that. They're going to propose what they want. So if they want to leave it like this, that's up to them. We're not telling you what to do.
I think our planner's here too, so I think she'll have some additional testimony.
She may come up at any time that you think it's appropriate, because that's why I stopped you, because I knew this was a subject that bothered me and probably others, and we were going far away into it, so.
The attorneys always put me up first. They should really put the
No,
planner up
no.
first.
I mean, if you want to, I know it's out of order, and our attorney's probably saying he's derailed my whole order here and my momentum. But
Not at all, Mr.
since we're
Chairman.
in this subject and we're talking about this, why don't we have your planner talk about it too and see if she can help?
Works for me. That's fine.
Because I have our planner here too, so. Go ahead.
AJ, can you take that down though, so the board can?
Or actually,
Okay,
could
I'll
you
just
just put it
kinda
could you just
put
put
it
it
aside.
sideways, like right off to the side?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, so we can continue looking at that as we're speaking.
So obviously, I don't even remember her name.
Pull the whole thing off to the right, yeah, right over there.
Barbara?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, could we have a 2-minute recess so that I can discuss this with the applicant? Because the sense that I'm getting is that we might want to make some changes, and that would change the planner's testimony as well.
I mean, that's fine. You could take a recess for 5 minutes. That's fine.
Very good.
But you hear what our concerns are. We
I
just want
do.
this to look like the rest of the neighborhood as best we can.
And
We
actu-
understand they want the space and they have to be 2 stories, but try to make it look something.
Understood,
Thank you.
understood. But if I may, also suggest, we do have some members of the public here. We'd certainly be interested to hear their comments too, to see if there are things that we can address as
Do you
well.
want to wait till the end or before you go into recess?
I'd probably just as soon hear what they have
As
to
right
say
now?
before. Certainly.
Okay, so let's have them come up and tell us and their address, where they live, and we'll swear them in.
Can you bring the microphone over to here and
What? Question?
just bring it in the middle? maybe. Bring the
Testimony so
microphone.
far.
Well, they're
hold
not
it in the
asking
middle.
their test, they're,
Public test,
So
yeah,
at the end,
exactly,
yeah.
thank you, thank you.
wait, so they're asking questions, or what are they gonna be saying?
We don't know, they have to come up. So open to the public for questions only.
Okay, we're gonna open up the hearing to the public for questions only. Come on up, sir.
Yeah,
Or
you can
yes,
move the mic
or
if
do you wanna bring the mic to you? Bring the mic to you.
Whatever works.
No, that's okay.
But just lower it, yeah.
Facing you closer, maybe, that's better. Hello? Hello?
Oh, you just gotta ask a question now.
Yeah, I try to give some comment, right? And my concern.
Just state your name and your
Okay,
address.
My name is Roger Eng, E-N-G. I'm the homeowner of the neighbor, 93 Stillwell Road, just 2 houses down from this.
Which way? Up
On the
Stillway
right
or
side,
going
on the
towards
right side,
Crawford's?
on the right side.
So if you're looking at the house, it's 2 houses.
93, 95, 97. Okay?
So, sir, before you start, Mr. Stein.
Yes.
Obviously, we usually just do questions now, the testimony. Are you okay if we open up to comments? and-
We're happy to hear
Okay,
comments.
so we can make comments. I'm going to have to swear you in.
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Right, yes.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to understand which is your house, because I'm looking at a streetscape on my phone. So you're.
The single number is on,
So if I'm
the same
looking
as
at your
97.
house, is the applicant's to this side or to that side of you?
if applicant is here, I'm on the right side.
The right side. So your house
Right
has a
side.
brick front? Is
Yeah,
it
brick front.
with
Brick front,
white siding on
2-story.
the side, a single
2 story.
Two-story?
Yeah,
he's
2
houses to
story
the right,
building.
Two houses to the right.
Oh, so he is up this way. Okay. All right, so your house is 2 stories too.
Right,
Okay, I see it.
okay, you see it, right?
Yep.
Okay, I just try to spend a couple minutes to talk about my concern, my comment, right? And whatever maybe the suggestion, right? I know that this public hearing involved 2 variants. One is 18.4 feet, right? Setback from the front. Second one is 35% lot coverage, right? Instead of the 25. I understand that someone trying to build a house is okay for a family, it's okay. 35% coverage would be equal to 3,850 square feet, okay? As compared to 25% coverage is only 2,750 feet, right? But when you look at the coverage, right, it should include the house area, the paved driveway, as well as the 2-car garage, 500 square feet, right? If you suppose that the 10 feet wide plus 100 feet driveway, right, to the back of the garage, that would be 1,000 square feet. And then 500 square feet for the 2-car garage, that would occupy 1,500, right? But if they ask for the 35% lot coverage, I'm okay with that, right? When you deduct those 1,500 square feet for the driveway and the garage, the house could still be build on for more than 3,000 square feet. I'm still okay, right? But what I'm concerned is the 18.4 feet setback from the street. It looked like that it is just like one member up here mentioned about. It looked like a structure shooting out to the street.
Sir, did you see the architectural plans?
I
already?
don't see the architectural plan, but I understand that the existing to be demolished structure is 50 feet setback, 50 feet, right? It will be in line.
Wait, let me interrupt you. I just want to show you while you're talking what they're proposing. Can you show them what it's going to look like in the front? I know, but that's part of it.
But it doesn't show the setback.
No, it's only to look at the architectural. That's what I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Since she's going to be your neighbor. The rest is not going to, it's only the inside.
Yeah, only side view, right? Okay. That's okay.
Okay, so your concern, your question
The
is,
structure.
what is your question? Do you have a
My question is, the structure is shooting out to the street.
Yep.
It is not harmony in line with the surrounding building. That's the question number one, right? Question number two is, because I am on the 93, if I'm backing up my car, look like this peculiar structure, right, will be situated there permanently, right? If you allow it to be built 18.4 feet from the street, it will be just like a tall wall facing us, right, when we pulling backward, right, to the street. Okay, that would be blocking the view. That's the first point.
Line of
Second
sight.
point is, if in future, let's say the front yard landscape, they plant some bushes or tree, or maybe sometime if the car park on the almost to the end of the street, right? That would be almost totally blocking my view, backing up to the street. That would create a dangerous hazard, okay? And also, I also realized today, right, when I'm coming to here this evening, right, heavy pouring of the rain, right? But maybe you understand, maybe you know, or maybe you don't know that Stillwell Road compared to the Crawford Corner Road, right? Stillwell Road is look like a grading down, forming a slope, going down to my way all the way to the Buttercup area. That means I would suggest that would be 5 to 10 degree grading down. That's why a lot of water coming down there. And also, if I backing out from my driveway, that permanent structure, right, here, supposed to be built only 18.4 feet from the street. That would look, the building look even taller. Not here.
That was yours?
Okay.
So let me hold you for 1 second. I want to ask the engineer, is there any rules or regulations about site view because of that? I didn't even think about that one.
Site triangles are associated with your driveway. He's 2 properties away. He's probably over 100 feet away. The site triangle for his driveway would not be on this property.
What about the neighbors that are right next door? Because according to what I see here, their driveways are, one of them is right up against that person's home. The house on the right side, the driveway is next to the other person's driveway, so they would be right next to each other. And so that might be a site issue for the house with the brick front.
Typically, the site triangle starts 15 feet from the edge of the pavement or the curb line into the property. Normally, your right-of-way is about 10 feet wide, so you're talking about 5 feet into the property. We're nowhere near, the house is set back 18 feet from the right-of-way.
Okay, so
It's
right
well
away is
beyond
not an
it.
issue.
Yeah, it
Can
should be. Plantings can be a problem, and normally it's held, violations are issued by code enforcement for something like that. If he was to plant something by the curb line that obstructed a neighbor's view for getting out of their driveway, they get a violation.
So, sir, I'd like to clarify one thing. You're okay, I don't confirm for this for me. You're okay with the variance going from 25% lot coverage to 35% lot coverage?
Yeah, I don't care even though.
You don't care about that?
I don't care even though they like to build a mini Empire State Building there, right? But as long as the setback.
The setback
should
is the
be
most
in line
im-
or in harmony with
I-
the surrounding house, right? And also I suggest that if they have that intention to build this large structure, it's okay. But why don't they just move the whole structure back to the
Okay.
existing
I hear you.
setback?
We got your message.
Okay.
So it's the same thing that we were saying. So thank you very much
Right,
for
right,
your
right.
comments.
Like one of you mentioned about before, right? Like a structure shooting out, look like not that harmony with the surrounding building.
Okay.
That's my only comment, right?
It's a good comment.
That's a great comment. Thank you for sharing.
35%, I don't
especially
care,
since
40% or 50%, as long as the
Well,
town
we're
are
going to
approved.
talk about, we didn't even get to the coverage part
Right,
yet.
right,
We're-
right.
Right now, we're only talking about the front setback.
Because if the lot coverage, right, excluding the garage, excluding the driveway, I don't care, right? The house could be built in a larger house, right? But my major concern is the setback issue.
We got it. Our
Okay.
board here is also concerned with how this, anybody kind of does work like this, how it's going to affect the neighborhood. And even though every case is different, we try to think of the neighbors first, the person coming in for the variances, and if there's a way to mitigate the variances. Like you mentioned coverage. Is there a way to reduce the coverage? Yes, there is. So if we can reduce variance so it's less variances, that's a good thing, and still give the applicant what they want.
Okay, one last comment, right? Next to my house is 95, right? I'm 93, 95. They have one driveway, right? But look like, appear to me that there are always a lot of car parking there. That's why when we are backing up our car, we be very cautious, right? Because they blocking the driveway. They are not driving all the way. They even always, all the time, has a pickup truck even parking on a
Unfortunately,
grass.
we're not here for the next door neighbor. So you have to talk to them separately. This is for the applicant that's building the
Right.
house.
No,
So
I
thank
just
you very
mentioned
much
about
for your
involving,
comments.
when I'm backing up from the
I
driveway.
get it, I get it, we get it.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you.
It's very dangerous.
Yes.
Since I'm also the.
If you're gonna say something, then we have to swear you in. No, that's okay.
Go ahead. Artie?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you have to state and spell your name for the record?
And your address.
My name is Yok. My last name is Yang, and I'm living in 93 Stillwell Road.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm one of the driver. I'm concerned about when I drive from my driveway, and right now because my neighbor they always park the van and then the truck over there. I couldn't see. It's very dangerous for me.
Well,
to
wait a
drive.
minute, is this the neighbor that's building the house?
Yeah.
The
No,
house, the building?
95.
Yeah, but we're not here
Yeah,
for that.
that's why right now, even it's dangerous. If they build a house, okay, setback only 18.4 feet, I can imagine, when I drive back up, it's very dangerous for me.
Okay, we thank you for your comment. Okay. Any other person in the
One
public have
last
a
thing.
comment?
Can I leave because due to my medical problem, I have to go home to do some medical hygiene
Okay,
things.
you can go. You're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else in the public want to make any comments? Okay, so,
We should tell Mr. Eng, I don't know what the applicant's gonna do, but they're gonna talk. It's possible they may get a vote tonight, it's possible they may come back, so if they come back, just pay attention to, you're not gonna get a new notice, pay attention to our agenda. We'll notify the new date if they come back. I'm not saying they will, but if they do.
But when I open up the Homedale Township website, webpage,
yeah,
regarding today,
you
tonight,
can also call our secretary anytime at the zoning board office and she'll tell you. Okay, so you want a 5-minute recess?
It will be posted
Yes,
on the
we would
website,
like a
and my
recess,
extension
please.
is
Okay,
1323.
we grant the applicant a 5-minute recess. is just the beginning. I knew this was initially.
Oh, you did? You had a feeling?
Oh, yeah, 100%. So I wait till the
So
end.
the video's on, but the recording's off, just. Well, you guys did that exact one, so you don't want that happening.
Marty's protecting us.
Yeah. Well,
The video is on, and I'm seeing everything you're saying.
you could see us, but you can't hear us.
You know what happened? You told me to turn down the volume of the computer, so I did. So what it does is it writes it out, everything you're saying.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying I'm looking.
Okay, so the applicant attorney is back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have pretty good ears. We've listened carefully to comments of the board. We've listened carefully to the comments of the neighbors, and we would like to carry this hearing so that we can look at trying to refine the plan to something that's more acceptable.
Okay.
So if that's acceptable to the board, we would like to carry the application to whatever your next available meeting is.
Okay. And I hope the applicant understands why we're doing it. I mean, it's a lovely house. Maybe not have it as high up so it sticks out. You know, think about it, see what the architect can do to make it look a little more like the neighbors. Maybe farm style or something. But I'll leave that up to you guys. Okay, so pick a date.
Question, how long would you need?
Oh, a month? Yes.
May 7th?
We could do May 7th. We could do April if you.
We have some large ones in April.
In April.
You can do it, but you may be sitting here for nothing.
Yeah, we'd rather have a date that we know we're gonna.
April,
Well,
May 7th.
May 7th is perfect, it's open.
It's
And
completely
one thing, Irene, can we put on here that special site visit for the other application? What date is that on again?
May
April.
5th.
Yeah, add them to the calendar.
Was it May 5th? Okay.
May 5th.
Yeah, I thought, okay.
May 5th, okay, so. May 7th.
May
So we're gonna
7th.
We're gonna carry this to May 7th, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board.
Without further notice, we look forward to it.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Stay dry.
Okay, let me get my act together here and find the minutes. What are we doing next? The minutes?
So Marty, I won't jump around then, about,
You can, well, we should do it as old
At
business.
the end.
Okay, old business,
We'll
okay.
talk about the calendar at the end.
okay,
Just because we're still on the record.
gotcha, okay.
Otherwise, confuse everybody. Alrighty, so, let's do the minutes of, February 19th next.
I just need motion and second.
I motion to approve the minutes of,
Well, before you do that, has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes? And do they have any corrections or additions?
just that one correction, you said you made it already.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
With that said, can I have a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes of February 19th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Second by Francine.
El-
Voice, roll call.
Eligible to vote? Mr. Berkeley?
Yes.
Ms. Campus?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Giampolo?
Yes.
Mr. Orfanopoulos?
Yes.
And Ms. Costello?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes care of the minutes, so the next thing would be professional reports. Nothing, I presume. You're gonna be with us for a few applications going forward on the dates that, I'm sure you have them already, and you'll
So-
be able to be here yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So you May 7th now, or is it May 5th?
The site visit for Andrews Management, you talking about,
Ye-
or?
Well, we're gonna talk about that now.
Well, yeah, the May 7th is for this one that we're carrying. Yeah.
Yes, I'll put it
Site
on
visited April 5th, 11 a.m.
So can we add that on this calendar?
Absolutely.
That's what I was suggesting, yeah.
April 5th. At what time?
11 a.m.
Okay.
Should I be able to go see the property at another time or get there earlier? Because I have a shower at the Molly picture.
Okay. Able to ask, we started asking, we didn't get an answer. Can they mark it a couple days early and leave it up for a couple of days so somebody can visit the site? But they're gonna flag the site, they told us they would do that, just
I'm going to check with the applicant.
tell Sal out here that please leave those flags.
Yeah, April
What day
5th
can you get there, the day before?
at 11 a.m.
Okay, so let's ask them to do it from April
I can- I know is if you're coming over, if you're coming off the Parkway North, you make a left, you go over the Parkway, it's the first, it's all clear cut, it's on, let me just close my microphone.
Sounds good.
Anything else on the calendar that we have to talk about? Wait. Anything else on the
I
calendar?
think it's pretty straightforward.
Everything else is the same. Okay, go ahead, Jason, you had a comment?
Oh, no, I was just describing where the location is for John.
Oh, the site visit, okay.
Andrews.
It's right after the Parkway.
Right across the street from Moore, there's one farmhouse to the left of it, and the Parkway's to the right of it.
I will send out the details once it gets
Okay.
closer.
And when you do get I hope they can give it to you ahead of time what the plans look like, so we can make sure that they have everything on there that we're gonna need to see.
Right, they said they would give us.
You mean flagged,
Like a little cheat sheet where the
A cheat
flag
sheet.
colors are.
like a map.
It should be the site plan with little circles saying this is a red flag, number 5 or something, and then we'll look on there and see what number 5 is. So if they can give it to us ahead of time.
And they would do the building one color, they said park in another color.
Right, I heard what you, Jason, yeah, he went over the different colors.
Well, I do recall that was part of last meeting.
Yeah, but I would just like to see it beforehand and make sure that it makes sense. Okay. Anything else? Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
No, you're first. I said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Have a good night.